Daycare places seen upon as the assemblage, and I grant that we treat and consider all matters the terms of declarations in so just and faithful a manner as to promote the honor and the glory, the advance, the peace, prosperity, and the welfare of our country, and of those whose interests you have to attend. God say amen. This is the honor to us. Are we having the right secretariat? When is the deputy clerk legislative? He ought not to keep the committee waiting. If he's part of this committee, must be here by now. We can't wait for him. The sergeant, you bring in the nominee. Our time will be at exactly 9. Yes. 14. Good morning, sir. It's a committee on appointment conducting the vetting of the CC for today's sitting. We want that before we formally start the vetting process, that you take an oath so that we are able to give your evidence on submission on oath. So we do it kindly, you are standing so that you can come listen before the way you stand will be very difficult for you. Just take it all the way you ask that way.
I, Chrispinus Barasa, head number 2274-2117,
having been duly nominated to serve as County Executive Committee member of the County Government of Bungoma,
to serve as County Executive Committee member of the County Government of Bungoma,
do hereby solemnly and sincerely swear that the information that I shall give before this committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Thank you. Just append the signature on the oath. Thank you, Chrispinus Barasa. We request that you pass over your ID and your academic documentations and the chapter 6 requirements that we saw that you, when you talk on the rating, you carry them along for us to verify those documentations. As part of over in the meantime, I just want to make a very brief introduction of the membership of the Committee on Appointments. I'm the chair of the committee on the Emmanuel Situma. By way of being the speaker, I'm the chair of the committee. I'll ask my honored members to have a introduction from my far right.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I'm Stephen Fulhamala, MCF 2600 Work, member here. This committee. Thank you, Chair. Honorable Joseph Juma, member of this committee.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Joan Miron, member of this committee.
Yes, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Progress.
Yeah, that's what you got, and what was for me.
Thank you, Chair. Professor Makali.
Thank you, honored members. I'll ask my clerk who is here with me and the deputy clerk for they don't have introduction of the secretariat that's it for this committee appointment.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I'm Charles Wafula, the clerk to the County Assembly and the head of the secretariat of this committee. With me, I have my secretariat, and I think very fastly you can just
Momos Leonard, Deputy Clerk.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Ruth Banami, member of the Secretariat.
Chair, I'm Dr. Kabe, I'm member.
Thank you, Chair. We are discuss.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Edward Musumba. I'm legal counsel, member of the Secretary.
Chair, I'm Caroline Omala, member of the Secretariat.
Chair, I'm the Dera, member of the Secretariat.
Thank you, clerk and our secretariat. We'll start now a process and be able to ask questions put to you by the member of the committee to be able to join us, seeking clarity on anything they want to inquire from you once we have a question put to you. The first question we ask you that you do for us here is just give us a summary of who is Chrispinus Barasa, the CECM Nominee for Finance and Economic Planning.
Thank you very much, Chair. My name is Chrispinus Barasa. I'm married. I'm 5 years old. 5 kids. I've been in the industry for over 15 years in terms of work. The last employment is being in the county government of BUNGOMA as an economic advisor, and I've been here before as a county chief finance. Thank you, Chair.
Our work is that basically you've just given us your family history. You never went to primary, high school, secondary, just one day you were born and you became where you are. Give us a history, Chrispinus Barasa.
Thank you, Chair. My primary education I had in Kibu Primary School, where I got an MS while I was there. I also, by secondary school, I finished as a medical social, that's Kakuyo, where I got an MS. I went to KU, that's Kenyatta University, where I got a Bachelor of Commerce, being accounting option. I also did masters in project management and planning, and also pursuing PhD in project financing. Chair, I've also been involved in USAID program on advisory services in terms of advising farmers in terms of dairy farming, livestock, and poultry. I've also been doing consultant services with the dye farm, and most of the time we've been doing it. One of the sessions we did also, I did with the company in BUNGOMA. I've also been did my work with the Friends School Mission Hospital as finance manager, and up to that first August this year. Chair, where I start, I've also had an experience with the county government, as I indicated before, as county finance, where I did several things when there, in terms of budgeting, planning, and also in terms of instituting some internal control measures, and that's where we go. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you for the summary you've given us. Now, my first question to you will be about the task force that was put by the governor. Is that from the task force interim report 2022, the county government pending bill stands at 2.9 billion, with an addition of 500 million, which is unlimited total deductions that continue to accrue interest and penalties. What plans do you have? If this committee approves recommends your approval to the House to put in place to ensure the pending bills are cleared, those deductions are paid up to date, so that they don't affect service delivered to the county and our employees who rely on NHIF, NSSF, and their pension security taken care of properly.
Thank you, Chair. Pending bills and scheduled deduction, first in budget is a first charge. And before that, given that it has been there, the verification process, given that even the task force is doing verification, but we will ensure that there is a comprehensive verification of these pending bills and commitments to ensure that once we have put them in the budget as first charge, then it can be verified beyond. And on scheduled action on like pension, that's a mandatory deduction which will actually take precedence in terms of budgeting.
Thank you, Honorable Stephen.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Good morning, Mr. Barasa.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you. I want to find out from you, maybe on this a very important question, that by close of the financial year 2020-2021, the control of Office of Control of Budget approved over 200 million at the request of the county treasury for salary payment. That was closure of financial year 2020-2021. The funds were drawn from mostly development and grant votes, resulting in an authorized expenditure as per the BFM Act, Section 149. We're riding together. Now, the same scenario was repeated by the closure of financial year 2021-2022, where the control budget again approved 140 million Kenya shillings to be released towards scholarship expenses. This is after the scholarship vote had been completed. As the head of the county treasury now, comment on the legality of such transactions and its impact on the budget, referring to the mandate of the Office of the Control of Budget, Article 228, subsection 5 of the Constitution of Kenya, and BFM Act 2012, section 119, subsection 6(8).
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. First, control of budget does not approve illegality. That's the first thing. Number two, when the control of budget has approved approved exchequer release, it is expected from the accounting officer that you now spend based on the appropriated lines. So if the amount is drawn from a line that is not appropriated meant for that, then it's against the PFM Act. Because Section 149 of the PFM on matters to do with accounting responsibility, you must do what is lawful and authorized. At the same time, it must be clear.
Now, maybe you have to clarify for us to understand and the committee and maybe those who are following this. Are you trying to convince us that when there was that withdrawal of 200 million meant for development, it was not an illegality, it's well within the law? And the withdrawal again of 140 million that was meant for development, again, you convinced this committee that it was not an illegality.
Fair. I've been very clear that you cannot, for example, the PFM does not allow, for example, to transfer money from development to do an expenditure. That is clear as per the PFM. And when you draw money from a line that is not appropriated, then it must be very clear that circumstances are beyond control and no votes is there. Otherwise, if the line is exhausted completely, then the only remedy, if that is beyond and is not appropriated, then it will have been drawn from the emergency fund, if the circumstance warrant that it was not budgeted for. But you cannot draw from a line that is appropriated.
Why we are seeking this clarification from you, if we recommend for your approval, we had such a scenario in financial 2021-2022, where there was a requisition for salaries for payment of the executive employees, which was spent on payment of other pending bills. Then there was a situation where there was no salary for payment of our staff in the executive, for salary had not been released by the COP. Now, in that scenario, there was subsequent release by the COP, approved by COP, pay salaries from the budget which was not recurrent in nature.
What was it?
Let me just finish first. Then, equally this financial year, at the commencement of the new financial year in July, there was equally a release of 140 million from a budget not meant for scholarship, and it was approved by the COP, 140 million.
Honorable Chair, maybe to add on that, maybe Mr. Barasa should convince this committee and the entire persons around the audience that that trend in your thinking, professionalism, if it's right, as you say, that maybe they can withdraw finances from that because of the depletion of the same from the main budget, that trend, do you think that as you take over, if indeed as a nominee you can be approved, you want to encourage that we can go on with that trend of working?
Just hold on, Honorable Makari, let me finish first.
No, it's just about what we
we are coming back there, right away to you.
No,
Please.
it must answer together with this chair.
Kindly, please, proceed and ask.
Chair is very curious because what Honorable Stephen is asking, I was a member of the Education Committee. There was 140 million for bursaries. In the Education Committee, the Chief Officer Education, the amount is reflected. But actual amount is not there. It was, they went to the COP and exhausted that amount to pay the goal college. So the Education Ministry is holding a paper indicating 140 million in this account, but that amount was.
In the old line, there was no money.
There was no money. It was already paid to roads. But here, my good friend Chrispinus is saying that Office of the Control of Budget cannot approve an illegality. Was that illegality, Chris?
Honorable Senator, not some, you have a notebook. Not some principal, they were able to make a follow-up of the same. For the president to proceed.
Thank you, Chair. I want to ask Chris, is it possible to use the development funds to pay salaries? That is what we want to know. If that money was diverted from development to current, is it really possible?
Please, you can now answer all of them at once.
Chair, I think I want to be clear on very specific lines. First, you cannot transfer development funds to recurrent to pay a current expenditure. That is clear with the PFM, and it guides it properly. When it comes to expenditure, and that's what because I've been there also as a county chief finance, and I know the practice that has been there. What the control of budget does is that once you have submitted a request to the control of budget, he approves the request based on the program. He may not come in to understand where you are going to charge, because that is the responsibility of the accounting officer to know that where you are going to charge there is as what you have indicated by the control of budget. There is no way in any circumstance that you can charge a salary line in any expenditure, because the salary is already controlled, even in terms of its expenditure. Then, in terms of changing votes when you are spending, I draw it back that when budgeting is done, we do the program-based budgeting. And once that program budgeting is done, it approves the programs and direct them to the itemized budget. So that is now under the Appropriation Act. So if there are any reallocation that is supposed to be done, it is guided very clearly. That's what I wanted to bring out. It is guided appropriately on if you want to do. Because you cannot go beyond, for example, 10% of our vote if you want to reallocate.
Yes, Honorable Joseph Nyongesa.
What we're after here is just maybe the nominee to inform this committee, was it a legality if it was done? Was it a legality or not? If it was a legality, what will you do as an administrator in that department?
Chair, the behavior of transaction is an illegality. Because why I'm saying this is because you, as CC, given that chance, you are supposed to observe compliance. And because oversight is there, if there are any expenditure that is not catered for, that's why we have what we call supplementary budgets. If the program is not catered for, you prepare for a supplementary budget, then that program can be catered for. But you cannot go ahead and spend what has not been appropriated. That's it.
Chair, just on the same. Now, the purpose of supplementary, can it also now enable the whole government to move money from development to current, or what are you trying to tell us?
Chair, the purpose of the supplementary budget is to realign programs. If you are moving money from development to recurrent, there is also a gap, because you must maintain 70-30 ratio. So if you are moving because there is a need in recurrent, then you must ensure that it does not surpass 30%, because that is guided by the PFM again.
Honorable Chair,
yes.
Last one as I finish my questions. My question. Now, Mr. Chris, are you confirming to this committee that given chance and approved, you cannot allow such illegalities to be undertaken again in this county?
Chair, that is the best practice. That the best practice is to ensure that you observe the compliance and also allow the oversight to ensure that it observes the law.
Yes, Honorable Joseph Nyongesa.
Thank you, Chair. Maybe just to the nominee to illustrate on how is going to enforce the following fiscal responsibilities. If possible, you cannot down. Because on A, the wages and benefits shall not exceed 5% of the government total revenue, while taking cognizance of the availability of job openings within the county government. And then another one, on the public debt, how shall it not exceed 20% of the county government total revenue? Then how you will deal with the risks in managing, on how we deal with the fiscal risks, how fiscal risk shall be managed prudently, and lastly, how the budget must be balanced.
Thank you. Take those ones first before we go to the next one, member of the committee.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll start with the last one. That is how the budget should be balanced. One, Chair, the budget is financed from the revenue side and also expenditure. So the first thing is to ensure that we also have a realistic projection on the revenue side. Then number two is ensure that we bring out the revenue raising measures to be enforced, and at the same time also enhance mobilization of revenue through partnership and also through that's partnership arrangement, and also some kind of arrangement with strategic donors who exist. And that can only also be achieved if we also observe in terms of donor reporting standards. Because that also, if you don't report properly, you can be denied funds. So to ensure this, on the expenditure side, it's a question of adherence to the expenditure standards. And that will mean frequent periodic reporting and to check compliance. That will ensure that that budget can be observed as a balanced budget. Then on issues to do with the risks, how to be managed. First, when we are preparing the whole budget making process, most of the risks that exist in budgeting is about deviation from the appropriate lines. And to ensure that is that to ensure that ministries, because county treasury has a responsibility and also powers to enforce any deviation from the norms. So, given that I will invoke the Section 104 of the PFM Act and also Section 105, which require that you do all that is necessary to ensure compliance. Then, in issues to do with the public debt management, is to develop a debt management strategy paper, which is very clear, that guides how the county is going to run its debt strategy issues. In terms of wages, the first assignment is to conduct a proper staff establishment and assessment, and also realign staff in terms of confirming the reason as to why 35% has been exceeded, and also putting in place measures to bring it down. And that can be done by informing all sectors in the system that the level has been surpassed, and the kind of approach in terms of managing it is to observe that we live within the limit.
So maybe, Chair,
Yes, Honorable Joseph.
as per now, we are almost 48%. So can it be possible to bring it down to 35?
Chair, I don't want to preempt the task force report, but when you follow the preliminary report, it is already indicated that there are possibility of bringing it down. And that is the line we need to observe so that it goes down.
Then lastly, Chair, maybe the nominee to state the circumstances under which the county government can deviate from the financial objectives in the county fiscal strategy paper.
Chair, deviation from the fiscal strategy paper only comes when circumstances are beyond they are beyond the control, or it has happened. We did the budget cycle where probably by the time we have done the budget and also supplementary, it's not possible to submit that request. So that deviation can occur, but at the same time, the county assembly should be informed accordingly. That's why in the PFL, such deviation should be brought to the attention of the county secretary.
Honorable Seneca, it's your time.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. Mr. Chrispinus. Before I go to my questions, I have, I think, 3 questions. Tell us something about the 17 million. I know you are aware of what I'm asking. It was all over in the papers. I think this was in court, and somehow we settled out of court.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Chair. I think the question the Honourable Member has raised not very clear because he has said is within my knowledge. Perhaps we may need to bring it out a little bit clearer. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a case in court where Chrispinus and other round of officials were judged in court, and they ended part of court settlement where they agreed. The allowances were paid, but the activities were not done. It was in the media, and I think the case was with the ECC, and you agreed to settle out of court, whereby you accepted to pay.
Just to clarify, did you ever take a plea, a criminal plea?
No, Chair, and that's why I was not very clear with what he was indicating.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know, because I saw your names and your name on the paper, so maybe it was a different Chrispinus. Because they were counting government of BUNGOMA employees, I think 6 of them or 7 of them.
Okay. Maybe, Chair, to bring it out very clearly, as staff of county treasury, we interact with operations at all levels, and I want to bring it out very clearly that those kind of operations happened during the initial year of operation. Policies were not there, and because policies were not there and we were studying the county, that circumstance is what happened. That if the activities were done and the police was not there, and this was about capacity building and interaction with the county assembly in terms of discussion, and that's what, because of lack of policy, that's what happened.
So you don't know anything about the 17 million?
That's what I'm saying. I'm going out to what you are indicating. We have not been charged in court or anything, because what is there is when the issues happened in 2015, we were told to write statements, and we did, as usual with any other inquiries in the county.
It's okay.
That's okay. That's another clarification. Now come to my question. We are already in November, and as you know, most of us elected, the only thing that saves us in our wards is what projects. We haven't started the procurement process. The first quote is already gone. How is your office going to oversee the procurement services to ensure projects are done timely or executed timely? And the second question is that if appointed the position nominated, how will you navigate your relationship with this county assembly, noting that previous office holders were not able or were not willing to come for interrogation with the county assembly when invited or summoned? Some were very elusive. They could not come to answer the questions here. The last question, what are the major streams of revenue, and how will you ensure the county government of BUNGOMA hits its annual revenue targets without burdening the business community, bearing in mind that the government promised a tax holiday to business people the governor promised tax holiday to business people in Eastern Bay. You know what happened in 2016 when the former governor was campaigning. He promised to waive taxes for Mama Mboga Protocol. The current governor has also promised a tax holiday. How are you going to make sure that we collect enough revenue while on the other side we're exempting some people from paying taxes? How do you balance them? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. You take up that one, Mr. Chris.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. First is about the projects, and I'll start with the ward projects. This issue we have once we have had experience over it, and the current scenario is that already under the executive order number 1, it has indicated that ward-based projects are going to be conducted at the ward level, and procurement is going to be done there. So the only way is what we have done is we designed a method in such a way that once operation has been done, they were already a secretariat at the county level, which can link directly from the ward to the ministries for payment. That is to smoothen the payment line. In terms of supervision of projects, the M&E team or a unit will be enhanced so that reports about the performance of the projects will be very clear. And also at the ward level, there is what is going to be ward performance reports committee, who is going to ensure that any problem that occurs at the ward level is going to happen clearly. And for projects to be effectively be done within time is a question of providing money, proper budgeting, so that we don't go beyond what has been appropriated and we execute it. On relationship with the county assembly, the issue is compliance. To relate with the county assembly properly is compliance. And what I will ensure is compliance with what has been approved or appropriated in terms of budget, then encourage reporting. And that will enhance interaction with the county assembly for any issue. And that has happened before, when during the time when I was a county chief finance, we were appearing before assembly, and it was very smooth. So that will be enhanced. Then on streams of revenue, there are areas that require just a question of panel beating, like approval of valuation rules. We have lost in terms of rates because of using the old valuation rules, and this is going to be an immediate issue. And then some sectors require some consultative interactions. When you look at, for example, the border, I have not paid, for example, revenue for quite some time. It's a question of discussion and understanding their problem and also markets. Because when you look at, for example, Mama Boga, in terms of administrative costs, it's very expensive to go and collect revenue for Mama Boga, 1,000. So it's a question of balancing. If you give the exemption, you must also calculate the administrative costs for it. So we have to analyze all revenues, and the way we have said the ward revenue collection is going to be done at the ward level, it means there is going to be over 80% assurance of revenue collection, and that will increase revenue automatically.
Just before he comes in again, he's been able to ask you about the relationship and the assembly if we have the committee able to make for the approval. We've had a tendency of where CECs and the chief officers refuse to come to this house or committees for just for clarification of some departmental issues. Now that new standing orders, it's clearly given that basically you be appearing to the committees and the house, full house, to answer queries of the department. How do you take it this time around? Will you be willing to come?
Chair, I will be willing to come anytime because that is the responsibility of corporation.
Okay, secondly, before I allow Senator, if I allow him, you've spoken about the revenue streams. When you walk around Bungoma town, you see mushrooming iron sheet structures which are not approved, or even on bypasses areas like reserved areas. But you happily collect the revenue in the evening hours. There are illegal structures, you are collecting revenue. You as a CEC finance, when you want to clean the town and move those structures, where you will be collecting revenue, be able to manage it.
you have raised, because it is similar.
Yes, please, Dr. Muhammad.
I happen to be the former local fund local authorities, and we constructed a number of stores. And those stores are being owned by individuals and are not paying anything. What will you do if you will be approved? Because we are losing a lot of revenue from our stores, particularly like outside jewelry market. There are very notorious business people who tend to say it belongs to them, and they are not paying anything to the local government of Congo. Finally, on what my brother, on the leader of minority, was asking, we have not come up very clear on the issue of tax holiday, because that is what I want to hear. That's the area of concern. It should not be a campaign tool like the former regime when it promised the mama focus and nothing happened. So you need to be very clear on my brother Barasa.
That issue of tax holiday just come out great because what is really they're asking, in most of the weekends we also have so many budgets around. When you are saying tax holiday, it means they won't be paying any tax. Now you are the one CEC Finance. You want to have enough on revenue collected. Now this tax holiday, if you are going to implement it and amend the finance bill, how are you going to come up with that shortfall to have at least a proper estimate for your own revenue collected so that you are able to balance the budget?
Okay. Thank you very much, Chair. First is about the mushrooming structures in town, and this one comes about the urban planning. We have to get our urban plans very clear and enforce them, because structures have been, the plans have decided how structures should be laid on the ground. So if there are those that are not within the plans, then enforcement should take place. And you cannot collect revenue from an illegal structure. That is also an illegality. So the other issue is about stores which the government constructed. That requires enforcement. Because if we are supposed to rent the stores and the owners are not paying, then it's a question of enforcement. Because we have policies related to that, and that is a compliance issue. The other issue is about tax holiday, and Chair allowed me to bring out the concept behind this tax holiday and how it's going to be applied. We are fully aware that markets are not always at the same time. They are in different times. One of the immediate assignments which need to be done is, first of all, to the target people are market residents, as traders of that market. And to identify them is through the market committees, that these are the resident market traders. The reason why we need to know the market traders, for example, if we are saying 12, they are resident traders, if they move from Twele to Kimilili, they will pay no money. But if they are in Twele, they will not pay, but I want to explain how it works. I want to say the mobility. You cannot move from one point to another because you are exempted. No, you are only exempted from the market in which you are a resident and you have been put. Then, the tax holiday will have a threshold. Who should benefit from the tax holiday? It's not everybody's going to. First, those who are market residents, and number two, when you want to benefit, and it was brought out very clearly, this 2 days holiday. It's not saying that you are not going to pay for this day. No. When you are issued a permit, it will be less 2 days. When you are issued a permit, not that when you go to the market, you will not pay. And these permits will appear, for example, if it is 1 week, 1 month, because that is already in operation, and the system has those designs.
Then, see, when you are talking of tax holiday, they are very clear that during the weekends, and any other holiday, Saturday, Sunday, and any other holiday like Madaraka Day, Labor Day, Yamun Day, those people don't have to pay any tax on those markets. You were saying, then as you answer that question, you are familiar with BUNGOMA Township. The stretch between the Catholic Church and the Chemakache hardware, that stretch between Agronomy and that the old college. That area, are you aware that people are leasing that space and included from the department to collect their own revenue and which is not basically accounted for? I'm aware because I'm aware when people have come to me that I also need that space for business purposes. So, as you answer, be aware that I'm aware of those particulars.
Chair, there is, if you talk about tax holiday, there is another line of how do you apply it. You know, that's a totally different issue. Because you have said you will issue
of traders from other counties or other areas. That is not what was desired to be achieved. So, Chair, is a question of application we have to participate that will guide how it's going to be.
It's okay, I'll go to. Yes, Honorable Seneca.
Chair, Chris did answer my question well about the work projects, the procurement process. I said the passport is already gone. The projects have not been advertised. Then you responded that the procurement process has been moved to the ward level. We don't have structures at the ward level. We don't have any policies guiding the procurement at the ward level or sub-county level. For this remaining three, there is a likelihood that there will be debate in the third quarter. But the first quarter is already gone. How are we going to ensure that these projects are done before the end of the financial year so that they are paid?
Thank you very much, Chair. In terms of projects, as we have said, through the executive order, Chair, there are two things that are going to happen very fast, and which we are, there's already a program in line. Sensitization program is going to run very fast at the world level, and I think we're going to be involved very fast. Once that is done, because the objective of that sensitization program is because we were targeting that when you are doing the projects at the world level, it's going to benefit the people from that world. That was the objective of the decentralizing that. So we want now, the sensitization program is to ensure that how do we achieve that? We achieve that by telling the community that these are the tools you need to use to benefit. For example, SACCOs, CBOs, or companies from people who come from there. That is the immediate thing that is already going to be rolled out immediately. Then, because that was the first action to prepare them on the ground, the other allocation of which we brought out very clearly, given that it's not going to be taxed in terms of adjusting, then procurement can be rolled down immediately following that sensitization. And once that is done, Chair, the monitoring and evaluation team will always moving very fast so that once that is done, payment will also follow immediately.
Honorable Chair.
Yes,
Yes, Honorable Chair, I want to ask Mr. Barasa that on fiscal responsibility principle on expenditure, 30% should go to, sorry?
Just proceed to
That is about it,
from the finance department, you know.
Yes. I was
I did advise, and I did even communication with this strategy to national government, and they had already take over that road, and I think it was taken over with the situations. But as far as county treasury is concerned, we did what is in terms of advisory and also communication to confirm that national government is willing to take over. And currently, as we are talking, there are discussions around the whole carriage, and there is a positive group that the national government is going to take over this project. So it's a question of just following up, but the discussion on an advanced stage on the whole carriage. On civil brigadier is a question of just following up because the national government has taken a half of that road. So it's just enforcing or rather following up the way it's supposed to be done.
No, why on the political side this be very specific on community? When you are the chief officer of finance, there was a contractual agreement between the national government and the county government where they were to share that note by contributing each 500 million. You remember that contract? Yes. Yes. Now, after the county government gave its share of 500 million, the national government chickened out. Up now they have made that payment of the bargain. You are now coming in if we approve you as the CEC finance. How do you want to navigate that this money that was promised by the national government in that contractual agreement is duly paid by the national government?
Yeah, this is going to be possible because sometimes also projects occur because of political will. And with this circumstance, there is political goodwill, and we can navigate around the completion of the two projects.
Chair, can I add something?
Yes.
Chris, if you accepted or advised that road to be done, which was still under the national government, why again now be against the whole package that was being done by the county and yet it's also why accept one and when the other one? Because they both fall under national government.
Yeah, I indicated that the discussion on war is an advanced stage as we are talking for the national government to go.
But you say
There is nobody is wrong.
yes, but you say
Now you know that when you say that when my chair budget is in this room, and is aware that you've so far spent 1.5 billion that round. Or the contractor itself has been paid above board. And they are willing to take over. To spend extra tax money on the same road again.
What is going on right now, Chair, is assessing what has been done this year. And I think once that is done, it will inform if there is any money that has been lost or it is in the proper line. Because any money that has been lost, definitely there is an obligation.
It's okay. The second question of
Mr. Barasa, the county government have been facing that denying own resources. Although we are collecting around 500 million in terms of own revenue resources, but it's not enough. What measures will you enforce on the fund in order to facilitate the response to crucial spending needs, most specifically after the COVID-19? You know, the pandemic has affected the economy. That is why we are focusing on the explanation. The resources are coming down because we cannot collect the funds. How are you going now to address that issue so that you are able to facilitate crucial spending in those crucial areas?
Thank you very much, Chair. I indicated earlier that revenue collection is about understanding each individual case. One of the issues that the possible decline of revenue is about enforcement. Once that enforcement is not there, then some revenues can go uncollected. And also it's about our laws. As I indicated, we are losing a lot of income to rates because of using the old institution codes. So once that has been updated, then we're going to benefit a lot from the rates because of that adjustment of the updating the duration role. And other issues about having very strong consultative discussions with the revenue points and bringing out, removing much of unstructured revenue to structured revenue. When you have a lot of unstructured revenue, collection eats into administrative cost. So that's why most of the time we are talking about going to the market to collect 1,000 shillings and you are using 10,000, it may not be economical. The best you can do is, for example, to exempt that level and move to another structure, another level by saying, why don't we agree to pay a family one month or 1 year? That is you are structuring it and you are sure you can do projection. I want to give you an example of motorbikes. When we did a structured way, we were able to project and know how much we need to collect by year. But when it was not structured, you cannot determine when you are doing budgeting to do unrealistic projection. So Chair, is we have to move from structure to structure in a very consultative exercise.
Just in the same line of the questions posed by Constable, I'm having a petition from the casual workers in Bungoma County. The number is 107. Interestingly, the major chunk of those casuals are from the revenue department. The revenue alone has 72 people who are casuals in the revenue department, and they're saying they have not been paid for 6 months, but they're every day going to the market to collect revenue. Don't you see that, I'm not imagining somebody working for 6 months, no salary, but every day he's in a suit on the market. You are getting what I'm trying to say? By the way of every leave that place of work, he must get something to go back home and eat from. Second, we've spoken about the enhancing revenue collection. When we were young, we used to write the portion bill, and I used to have the foreign officers. They would come around, take away that starting of the portion bill, and you're supposed to come and pay. Now, every time you see your officers stopping a rolling, stopping anything, that case ends on the roadside. And you know what it means. You have a plan of having a county court for taking people there to pay fine that because when you have such a court, those rent folders, those people are not paying licenses, they will be taken there for fines. Do you have such a plan so much?
Thank you very much, Chair. On the issue of customers, that is the first area that we should close up, because someone who is not paying and is collecting revenue, then there is a possibility of arrest. That the money will not reach a county. So that will fix clear people go to the market and know, and they know specifically what they're going to do. Then on the issue of enforcement officers, enforcement officers are supposed to do that enforcement on a structured revenue. When you do on unstructured revenue, the possibility of losing is high. Because you are supposed to go and enforce what you already know. Like, for example, if these shops are, you have the list of shops that are not qualified, it is then possible to enforce what is wrong. But if you use unstructured, then the possibility of losing is there. That's why the process of converting that to unstructured is very important to enhance revenue. Then the issue of county court. Chair, I want to inform that we started this process. We started this process and it was posted that we can have it. So it is just a question of follow-up, but it's possible.
Mr. Chairman, just on the issue of the casuals.
Yes.
How was it going to fix it? Is made by contract. How? Will you employ them or are just going to pay as casuals?
Chair, how the casuals enter into the system is a county process. Because once they are there, then it means they are employed. And if they are not employed, then they are strangers.
You know why on really started that question? We had I think in that task force of the governance task force, that some casuals were confirmed. And the casuals I'm having in the list I'm having the petition, 167 casuals across all the departments that are in security. So we were wondering if there was could be some casuals with 6 or something. Where were these casuals? Why were they there?
Chair, there is already a directive for that matter.
Yes.
So the ministry will review and act on according to ensure that the genuines. So there is already a directive for that matter.
Is okay for the Kumako, you have any joiner?
Yes, Chair, I have a concern about the enforcement. They are taking instructions in another party, and yet they are working for the revenue department. You find many times when they are given some responsibilities, they are also turned themselves into revenue collectors. And I think you are aware, because you work in the same government.
No, he's aware.
They are also collecting money, pretending to be revenue collectors. How are you going to deal with that?
Chair, I want to use the experience I had. What we did during that time, which is supposed to be, is that the public administration are supposed to second enforcement officers to revenue, so that the instructions are supposed to come from the Department of Revenue.
And that has not been done.
So that is the immediate action which we have, because you cannot be an enforcement, then you are having two supervisors. Principal management will not allow that. So Chair, is a question of confirming who are these that belong to revenue collection. Then number two, enforcement of revenue, you are not supposed to go and collect unknown revenue. That is where the problem is. You are supposed to have a list of what you are going to collect with the fee. If you don't have, then it means you are going to find, even in plans, you find someone is instructed, you are arrested, up to the road, you are...
No, they don't arrest you, they take away your semen and the wheelbarrow and the material from the site.
So that is not the approach that they apply. You are supposed to enforce on known areas. And also, because we want to enhance revenue collection up to the world level, surveillance also will be there. Because also revenue collection, you require also what we call the identity process, who are not known by agencies. So those words also will be applied, so that we understand what is going on. Even if you are going to enforce, you also attach you with the evidence person who are not doing that. And that will also bring to relevant information.
Yes, let me go to Makari first because of the data. Makari.
Thank you, Chair. In this work, my good friend.
Are you saying that we are bad, he's bad friends?
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I know about me and him. But yeah, then you began from the head. I want to begin from the legs first.
Proceed.
Do you allow me to
Proceed. You have up to one to ask questions.
All right, Chris. Now you are, if you go to your document page 3, this is your CV of the questionnaire, 3. On page 3, you said you are an employee, county government of BUNGOMA from 1st of September 2022 to date. Maybe you can tell this committee which position you are holding between 1st of September up to now. Then 2, you are working with various organizations, even if on a part-time basis. You are senior consultant with the Evolution Administrative Institute from November 2019 to date. You are a part-time lecturer in Zimbabwe University from 2019 to date. You are a part-time lecturer in University of Nairobi from 2018 to date. You are a partner with the Masinde Wangila Associates from 2021 to date. And then you are also working with the county government of BUNGOMA from September 2022 to date. I don't know, maybe you can highlight.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. County government from 1st September, advising. But these are the programs that are doing offline.
online and password and things are not tied in one.
So from September 2022, you've been an economic advisor. You are still. Okay. Now, I want also to go back on an issue. In your academic papers, there's one component missing. You went to primary, you went to secondary, you went to university, but there's an issue about recommendation. It's called a living certificate. Chair, allow me to expound on a living certificate. When I was leaving high school, and anyone can help us know the character of someone. When I was leaving high school, the principal recommended that I can only work near a police station. That don't mean the nominee. Yes, I'm saying about me. So if such a document can be in the file, we can easily judge the kind of person we are going to deal with. But now it is missing Greece. Even at secondary level, you are not included. So how do we judge you which kind of student you are?
All the members. Basically, he's a teacher.
I only went back in 2017 when I was standing for election. And all the teachers that were at that time had moved to transfer. Then I sneaked in and told them I was a very good boy. So they wrote me another one. I am a new living certificate.
So, Mr. Chair, it means that even Mr. Chris can have a new one also.
And then you should have included even the new one. But it is not there, Chair. So Chair, we can't catch which type of student, temperament, character-wise, which type of student.
When he was in socio secondary school,
yes.
Kindly share with us in view that there is not really looking to file. Or is it about your follow documents?
Chair, I'm not attached to that. I want to assure the and through Chair, I've been with the county.
You know why it has been that way? We've known him like what we sit as the speaker. He's one of our bishops in this assembly. But now he's telling us when he was in high school that he was a economic work based here in the station. He asked him, he's a bishop.
A very good guy nowadays.
Now we are asking about it. So what is the one for high school?
Chair, perhaps just another sense.
It's okay. Honorable Grace? No, so that is also easy.
What is done, I was beginning from the legs, Chair. I'm not even going to my question. So, Chair, allow me again ask another question. Maybe there's an issue, Chair, we touched on and we will not actually exhaust. And Chris, you are the Chief Officer of Finance. This issue of education, and you said this Office of the Controller of Budget cannot approve an illegality. But where we sit, we looked at it as an illegality. There's a time the Department of Education called us for a meeting at Zion. And we were very happy. I think we were with the Honorable Senator in Education. Or which member were we with? And we really celebrated, with the Kiron. We have 100 million. Let's now begin telling parents to fill bursary forms. Little do we know that the money was already, somebody went to the control of budget, removed that money, and now the Department of Education was holding just a paper. Until we asked for the IFMIS printout, is when we realized that money was already eaten. It was moved from education to go and pay for us. And Chris, you are the chief officer. Maybe you can tell us Okay.
Chair, on issues to do with the expenditure, Chair, it's very clear when it comes to the and I think I would agree that an accounting officer is as an estimated officer who is mandated to ensure that the expenditure on our board he has been designated operates within the lands. That is the position in terms of accountability. So if the Ministry of Education spends money on another department in the land, then the responsibility of accountability rests with the accounting officer of that department.
Now, is it possible that as the CEC Finance, this money could have been moved without your knowledge? Is it possible? Because the Chief of Education feigned ignorant that she is not aware. Honorable Gilon can bear me witness. And I think Honorable Professor was also not aware. But she feigned ignorant that she didn't know how the 140 million meant for bursary moved from her board head to go and pay for us. So is it possible that the Chief of Finance was aware, or who was aware when this money was moved?
Perhaps maybe probably the time frame that period of action. Then number two, you cannot move money from a ministry to another ministry unless you pay from the same ministry itself. There is a business operations, it's not possible that money is allocated to the Ministry of Education, then it is transferred to board. So what happens if it are not been allocated? Perhaps it's charged directly in the Ministry of Education. That's
this question is asking is paramount to ask questions where you go for the exchequer, money comes in as for the Department of Education. Once money comes to the account, the revenue account at the account level, you choose not to pay. The request was for bursary, you're not paying roads, or your friendly contractors around here.
I was saying that when compliance is not observed, certain scenarios occur. Because what always happens is that the request goes to control budget, you are supposed to pay in line with that.
Yes.
And that's why the control budget may not come on the ground to control you on how you have used the money. What you will do, you will remain with the original, which you requested the money. So if you change on the ground, then that is an automatic request from the control budget.
Maybe you can understand that. Now, another issue, Chris. Maybe you tell us something about your resignation from work. Because we might approve you and 1 year down the line you resign. I remember you left employment as the Chief of Finance, I think a year ago. Maybe you can tell us something about it. It was 2 years ago.
Yes.
You can tell us something about why you left this committee is interested, because we can give you an approval here, and 1 year down the line you say, my friends, I'm now leaving. And you see, a CEC Finance is very integral in the operation of the county government. You are cassetted, nothing can move without the CEC Finance, until a replacement, and the replacement takes some good time. And in fact, Chair, there is no letter of resignation in this. I was going through this, hoping that I will find my good friend Chris has attached this letter of resignation in the file, but it's not.
Yes, Chris, you ask that question.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, I want to call Sabu the first regime for 4 years. And then 2 years. And the main reason why I left is because of the approach. The approach, the new government has been applying the centralized approach. we were used to decentralized approach. So that one didn't go well, and in principle, I indicated it's not possible because in decentralized system, you organize in the government setting. In a centralized system, you may do other areas of the. So I will not be able to discharge my responsibility, perhaps at the county treasury, because you need to hold them responsible based on what has been assigned. So if it is not possible at that level, then it means your function as a county treasury may not be possible. That may make the basic reason to resign on principle.
All right, now, just another issue. You found that there's a cartel at the county treasury, and this cartel was getting used to paying contractors even for those ones who had not even done any job. They just paid. Certificates are raised. A road so and so has been done, which has not even been done. Not even a grader has not even gone there. And then that cartel in the treasury pays this money without actually verifying that this road was done. Maybe it was instruction from above. What are you going to do as a CEC to ensure that the operations of the council are streamlined and every work is paid on merit that actually has been accomplished? What are you going to do about this cartel? Are you going to ask them? One CEC nominee said when she enters office, she will sack all. Hey, what you can do? So maybe what are you going to do about the cartels and Barasa?
Thank you very much, Chair. On matters of operation in county treasury, it's about leadership. The basic principles in terms of financial management. For example, if you request money from the government, you need to pay in line. That's how it works. What was happening in treasury, and I know ministries didn't know about this, because it was a control mechanism in the country, whereby when you bring a project for payment, there was another team that would verify without the county treasury.
Without your?
That is when we send another team from county treasury to go and confirm that project at what level is it. You know, that's an assurance from county treasury that we are paying money, that there is value for money. Because if you don't do that, then you will be, there is in the county treasury, there is what we call controls. It has a charge with the control. So for you to pay without instituting a control parameter, then it means you will also be doing exactly what you also do inside that. So we invoke two levels in the county treasury. There is an M&D unit that always keep track of all projects on both basis. That one we already done, it was perfect. Number two, internal audit also moves. But there is another team from county treasury that when you are bringing a document for payment, it also goes automatically from the farm. If you read a picture of the farm, is it time? That is an assurance in terms of payment. So officers who are in the county treasury in terms of any other is a question of leadership. It's not a question of transfer. Because when you transfer, you're transferring well. Because they will still demonstrate the same. So it's guidance, proper strict control measures that we have to that. And if there's any limitation, then it's a question of discipline.
Just to resume like as asked by Honorable, we've had situation of the road spike, where equally we have had certificates issued for payment of some roads which don't really exist. No other than, but we have a certificate of completion. Like such an officer, how do you handle it as head of operation? Because I'm very much aware that from the task force, if I've come across such a situation where a photo was taken in BUNGOMA, taken in Buya East, or to Bilili, to payment.
West Sangal?
Yes. One photo is used to make 3 or 5 payments.
Yeah, the responsibility is where lies on the companies. That is very, very
We are going with this question, and I want also to give you an argument. Because in the previous regime, there was earmarked wards. The projects were done to around 60%, 70%. But you will find the contractor has been paid the whole amount of it. It has come to our attention after Kipsang bringing a report to budget committee. And it is shocking. We will find a project in my ward is 70% and all monies were paid. There is only tension that is being withheld in such a case, and then yet we hate a team. Now, let's assume you will be approved. The same cartels are there, still there. That's the question my brother is asking. What will you do? Because we need to have it from you clear so that we also get.
They are waiting for those cartels.
Yeah.
You tell they come to you.
that's a sign that is collapse. You see such a kind of the control parameters as far as county development mandate is concerned. That's what it is. And if that happens, then such a kind of occurrence happens. Because the county president has two levels. It has a responsibility to guide the ministries, and it has powers to control them from that. So, Chair, is not about those cartels, it's about structure matters.
Okay. Honorable Magari, you wind up to go to political grace.
Now, maybe you tell us about your view on what we call financial autonomy of county assembly. That instead of money passing through the county account to your end, then the county assembly at the mercy of the executive and just receive some little allocation. So that the county assembly looks like it's begging the executive to have its operations run. Maybe just your view on that.
Thank you very much, Chair. Actually, we are advocating for the autonomy of county assembly. When it started, we were there and we assisted in the application. There is only one parameter of control that is every year before 15th June, if you read the document again, there is always a cash flow projection from all entities. The county assembly decides that's its cash flow projection, control of budget, on how it will be receiving money based on our sources. So the issue of facilitating the county assembly is just a question of collaborative efforts, because you cannot completely be independent, because there's a relationship, you coexist. So that's why I was saying when there is no proper relationship, then it's just a question of leadership and governance. Because assembly deals with oversight, county treasury deals with compliance. So we as treasury need to facilitate you for compliance. Because if you are not facilitated, then you are compromised. That's where it comes in. So all parameters are there. It's just to bring it back to normalcy and it works.
All right.
Because one of the responsible questions is also to advise the county assembly. Thank you.
I say
No. Yeah. This is my second last issue. Just your input on the employment of casuals. Recently there was around 600 employees, some village administrators employed, and some of them do not even qualify for these positions. And then there was some inflation of the employment of casuals. Some of them were not even there, but there was addition. Maybe just your take, just a quick one. Then I give you my last question.
Chair, the whole scenario rotates around information. The whole issue rotates around information about the cash flow and also the procedure of bringing them on board. Because if the procedure is correct, then it means money must be appropriated. And if it is correct, then there must be a proper intake of the set. So, Chair, what demonstrated there is just a question of compliance, which must just be brought, must be restored, so that operations don't go beyond some level of control levels.
So, I didn't get it properly. What would you know about the legal ones that got in the system without proper papers? Some of them are covered.
Chair, we are guided by the policies and laws that exist in the system. If someone has been employed under overhead and the policy says it's not supposed to, then the responsibility of that someone to take responsibility. Because the county government may not pay because it will pay, then you are going to be entitled.
All right, okay. I want to relate my question to one of the press. You ask example.
The chair, not just you, not saying. I'll go to Hospitality first as you prepare.
She's prepared.
It's okay, okay. Let me allow this to do it because she has some points for taking. But the rest, please.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
Let her just ask.
If I go to my question, Waziri, the total assembly spending.
It's not yet Waziri. It's not yet. It's a nominee. It's a nominee.
Okay, Mr. Barasa.
Yes. He's a nominee. His fate lies in the committee courthouse. When you bring our report. Yes.
The total assembly spending in 2022-2023 fiscal year is projected at 1.2 billion, comprising both the current spending and development expenditure. The proposed ceiling as per second schedule is 871 million in financial year 2022-2023 compared to 890 in financial year 2021-2022. This represents a projected deficit of over 328 million. How are you going to help this county assembly to increase its ceiling so that critical projects are implemented? Basing on presidential directive to cut down the government expenditure by 300 billion, and this will have a direct impact on Division of Revenue Act, that's dollar, and County Allocation of Revenue Act, CARA. Which fiscal policy will you put in place to adhere to this directive while ensuring that the government priorities as outlined in the manifesto are actualized, not forgetting the ceiling of the county assembly?
Yes, CECM Nominee.
Thank you very much, Chair. I want to be very specific with the issue of the ceiling. Always the CRM will indicate the ceiling to the county assembly, and that is supposed to be adhered to. But there is also another process of negotiation, which I think the county assembly, perhaps with the executive, we can join hands to discuss about it. And we always, once you justify why you do that for the city to enhance, they are always completely done. So the issue is actually to pursue that negotiation with the CRA to ensure that your projects are there. Then the issue of national government and county government.
Just on the same before you go on the second issue. Keeping in mind that CRA has to review the ceiling this year, which is next month. We are taking time for it.
Yes.
We only have like 2 weeks to work on the ceilings.
Yes, so I think that one is about the clerk and also their team, just to pass it, because it has happened and that is the process in handling that issue. On the issue of fiscal policy, Chair, national government and the county government coexist in terms of communications. That is why whenever we want to go back in the process, there is always a circular from the national government to guide in the process, and the customary to suit our county. So all indicators from national government is a question of cutting costs. Certain activities in the program will not take place because of costs in the resources. And this will have also been cascaded down to the county for the purpose of that communication, because the report indicating so far is that we have a huge bill when it comes to paying bills and developments, which when you take on budget making process is a first step. So, Chair, that will be anticipated.
Thank you, Chair. Are you now assuring us that once you're sworn in, maybe next week, you're going to fast track the issue of the ceiling so that the county assembly can balance its issue effectively?
Yeah, Chair, that's true. And because of time frame, I think the clerk automatically will be informed that review to ensure that that time frame will be the same.
Honorable Taris.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, before starting my question, allow me...
Since mobile data is turned off, you'll have to connect to a Wi-Fi network first.
Barasa. When I have gone to the city of Chrispinus, Barasa, I see that it has all the very positions in this council, government of BUNGOMA. I would like to briefly tell this committee what has allowed up to the committee of the non-government of BUNGOMA in terms of technology. Because you seem to be a very good citizen of this kind of thing. And now my question, within the shrinking physical space, give strategies on how we are going to mobilize additional resources for funding the budgetary requirements of the BUNGOMA County government. That's my question to submit.
Yes, Chris?
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. Chair, one of the things that I can contribute towards this county is proper leadership. And proper leadership will save a lot of losses. And that is the contribution we need to do in this county. The strategies that need to be...
Any food is a part of the service have rendered with the...
No, they are trying to look at your questionnaire, trying to see where you pop out of bono, charity to charity for work to the society. Or it's saying so that maybe you are a very miser in terms of your hard-earned money.
Perhaps, Chair, I might not have contributed to what is done, but I will confess I've supported so many children to school, and which maybe I may not have been demonstrated here, but I've done it.
You know what we are asking on the questionnaire, number 87, pro bono stroke charity work, donations to charity, describe what you have done by way of pro bono or charity work, listing specific instances, the amount contributed, and the amount of time going to each. If you say it no.
Chair, I did that because I was supporting some evidence. Given that I didn't do that, it was difficult.
Even this team of the children you are paying fees may be socio or municipal. Yes, church contributions, charity organizations that you assist. It's okay. Every time states just go ahead, you take a note of that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, on the issue of strategies for resource mobilization, Chair, I mentioned about first our own source revenue. Our own source revenue is supposed to be to undergo a restructuring, and I indicated that that will improve a lot in terms of revenue, and also closing up the leakages, and that has come out very clearly by also use of cash flow through about properly employed, should be closed up. Also in the employment, then also I've also indicated the issue of trying to link up with the potential partners, who are there outside there, whether there's grants and donations. Another area that the chair is actually compromised is reporting on grants and donations. Once you don't report, you may be denied quite a bit. And when you check on our budget, there's a lot in terms of issue, and that will come about by the issue of reporting. So that will be enhanced to ensure that feedback to the donors and also engaging with them for more will be enhanced.
Honorable Kiron.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes.
The nominee explained to this committee how his moving is going to ensure compliance with the PFM Act 2012 for financial budgeting, managing and reporting requirements.
Chair of the PFM is just a question of enforcing the expectation of the PFM in terms of physical measures that should come into place, and also monitoring for compliance. It was very clear when it comes to responsibility of government. Monitoring for compliance is very important, and also correcting failures.
Yes, Barasa.
Chair, audit queries come about because of the grants, because the budget execution and implementation of the direction is just to stick to the appropriation lines, and if there is any deviation, should be properly explained and corrected through the same budgeting process. So that is the only way audit queries will be reduced. It was just a question of compliance.
This issue of non-compliance, does it come about with the accounting officers?
Yes, Barasa.
Chair, compliance lies with the responsibility and accounting officers. So that responsibility cannot be taken away from the accounting officers, because when as per section 143, the CEC finance shall designate the accounting officers who shall report to county assembly on the implementation of the budget on that report. So if there are any deviation, then the accounting officer who is the authorized person to do that is the sole person who should be able to control the monies of it. So it lies around compliance.
Chair, my question is, now that those accounting officers are still there, the operations are still there, what will you do about it?
Chair, given that the county treasury controls, it prepares the budget at the same time pays all expenditures. So the most important thing is to ensure that it complies with what is happening as a county.
You see, the question
It's a trend now, and we are losing trust to the same officers. And I still there.
Chair, given that if I'm coming under CEC, then definitely
If approved,
if they are approved as a CEC, then the capacity I have, that has to stop. Because the issue of non-compliance is a question of leadership.
on the same line of Honorable Nyongesa, you are kind if you are forming becoming, how do you handle situations where we have some senior officers and some casuals who are still having outstanding increase in the tune of 2 years as the head of treasury?
Chair, when you look at the PFM regulation, it does not allow one to use an interest to go beyond 7 days after reporting of duty struggle and 7 days after completion of the program. So you, as a ministry, one of the conditions is that you need to ensure that as a county that is done. And you need to be given a time frame. Because that's why I was saying county president has 2 levels. It can stop the operation of a ministry to ensure compliance is done. And that is actually the mandate that is supposed to happen. Because interest management is also a source of audit queries, because it may violate the procurement act. Because you may end up buying goods through interest, and that may be an allegation against the procurement act. As per the executive order, which came out very clearly, that interest must go to individual accounts, and that's as per the PFM regulation. And if it is about the procurement component, it must go to the normal process. So executive order number 1 must just be executed because it complies with the PFM regulation.
So, okay, now, yes, you wind up your last statement if I go on the tomorrow.
Yes, mine is to put stress on point number 6. You are saying that it depends on the system. So, I want to ask the nominee, this team, online and information, is it still in the system?
MRT unit is a department under the county president. By the time when I was reading my policy, it was already been developed. And we guys, and that with a tool for monitoring. So perhaps it's just a question of ensuring that policy, because it will guide a lot when it comes to reporting on maybe the failures of companies to pick up and reason for that, and also how to manage.
Is it operation? That's what he's asking. Or you may be
So far, I may not be able to know, but when I left it, it was at the assembly level. So I will have to pursue to confirm if it was related to exactly.
Yes, Honorable Hongo Barasa.
Chair, before I come to my question,
Yes, please.
I'm still I need more explanation for this issue of survival of interests.
Yes.
The chair has been SRC's countdown. What we find even parts and staffs are being given invoice and don't surrender. And that money is not put on the intended purpose. In most cases, that's why they don't surrender. How will you assure this committee that we don't do the issue? So we forget it once more. And you have said you will stop maybe the operation for some department where you have given orders and they have not surrendered. A political environment. My brother, you will need to enforce whatever you have done with this committee. So my substitution of the chair is this. We have had poor economic planning this county of BUNGOMA, and it has a serious problem in the county government. which are some of the plans you have to ensure better economic development?
Yes, Barasa, proceed. Then I have the doing that from the Stevie.
Thank you very much, Chair. For the issue of non-surrender of interest, I'm fully aware that there was a circular that guided in terms of even contract staff and the pressure on how much they can pick and also what period they can take when it comes to programs. So that is just enforcing that circular because it's still in force. And Chair, the PFM is very clear. If the accounting officer does not enforce this, then the responsibility goes back again to the accounting officer. And that's why when an officer has not surrendered interest, that amount is supposed to be forwarded to HR for recovery and the central bank rate, prevailing central bank rate. It's within that PFM. And if the accounting officer does not do, then the responsibility and the burden also goes back to that accounting officer. It's very clear in terms of that direction.
On which it's on the interest.
Yes,
the issue is on the interest. On the chair, the second government of Bungoma, we've had interests given to parts and staff who are now not in the government, and the interests are so huge. And now that they are not in government, how is the government of Bungoma going to recover such interest now that those people who are given the same interest are not in office? They are outside and they are not earning money.
And it was never surrendered.
As I said, Chair, the PFF was very clear on how this should be done. And the burden lies on the accounting officer who was supposed to recover this money within that period. If he did not recover, then as I said, the burden goes back to the accountants. And it has been stipulated very clear.
Honorable Chair, Mr. Barasa should assure this committee then that if in the case is approved as a CECM in charge of the docket, are you assuring this committee that you are going to make sure that the accounting officer is held responsible and that if you don't do that, we can follow up on this with you?
Chair, we are talking about the legal framework which exists, and the purpose of county treasury is to enforce that legal framework.
Now, as we wind up, we did pass an act, a health act in this assembly, and up now it's not having regulations. And when we were trying to make a follow-up on the revenue collected at our hospital facilities, it's been spent at the source all this time. We had a proposal where we say that money should be banked, only a percentage like 30% is paid at the source. And one of the most misused funds at the source was all our hospitals. What do you plan to cover that misuse at the head of treasury so that money is channeled in the proper revenue account of the county so that from there it can be spent in the proper way?
Thank you very much, Chair. On the issue of health, the PFM has indicated that for you to spend money without going through the county revenue fund, you must have a regulation. And if the regulation has been developed, then it must not contradict the PFM itself. What happens is that the account is supposed to be opened at the commercial bank, and all collections, they should have what we call the collection account and the operation account. And this is what happens. If you want to transfer money to the operation account, that request is supposed to come to treasury, updated on IFMIS, then you are authorized to go and do. It's the same concept with national. The way we go to the roll of budget, then you access your money. So that is what needs to be confirmed and enforced so that all that surrounds what goes around the regulation will comply with that. For the purpose of, because one of the audit queries that is so serious is about spending at source, which means money has not reached the account. Yeah. And it is a must reach on the account so that it is captured in it.
So are you promising that if this committee, in its wisdom, propose to approve the floor of the House, you will bring such a regulation that that once money collected at the source and the hospital is banned before it's paid? Because what we know now as an assembly is just shared at the source. They collect Monday up to Friday. Friday is shared among the politicians to get each other the funerals.
Chair, that has to be enforced because we already have a circular that guides that, so it's an enforcement that
It's okay. I think Honorable Professor, anything we want to see clarity? Then I have for Seneca.
Just a follow-up on the issue of the illegally employed village admins. Some who never applied, they are on payroll. Some were overage. So are you assuring us that when you assume that office, their salary shall be stopped?
Yes, please.
Chair, on matters of HR is guided and the County Public Service Board is aware of the scenario and is already directed on what needs to be done on that matter. So Chair is well guided on action to be taken.
It's okay. For Seneca, you have for Stephen, I think will be winding up that level. For Seneca.
Thank you, Chair. Please, if 94 staff from 2014 to 2019 is covered from the government. What challenges, or you can share with us your success stories, your failures, the challenges when you've done that, and what are you bringing on board if this committee permits you or approves your revelation?
Honorable Chair, may I maybe put this question to Mr. Barasa? This, or in relation to question that talks about DORA in Kara, where the President had directed that there should be cuts in the government expenditure by 300 billion. Today, it's realized that the allocation to the county governments has been reduced by 8 billion. By 8 billion. Now, which fiscal policy will you put in place then to adhere to the directives while ensuring that the governor's priorities are as outlined in his manifesto are accurate?
Yes, Barasa.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. On the issue of challenges, I think we were the pioneer chief officers and we started with a lot of challenges when it comes to structures, serious structures in terms of policy formation and regulation, which I think is keeping on being developed because we have not concluded in that process. So my only contribution is also to enhance that, to ensure that anything we do operates within a legal framework. Because if without a legal framework, it means we will have issues with audit queries. So on that, it's just a question of observing the framework. And we help, if it's about ministries, we assist them to develop that. Then on the issue of stringent measures, fiscal policies to be put in place. Chair, if the national government cuts down some of these distribution in counties, that's one source I want you to share. We are supposed to capitalize on what we can manage, like all source revenue. That's our local revenue and aid. And Chair, when you look at even some of our aid, like most of the hospitals, is a question of giving them seed money to pick up. Because when you give them seed money, they improve the service. When you improve the service, you get more clients. So that's another area that needs to be enhanced. Then also enforcing the bringing out revenue collection measures to boost it. But at the same time, more critical is linking up with potential partners because they are there. And given that that's an area that we need to explore, here we promise that has to be done.
It's okay. I think we come to the end of our meeting, exercise. We don't ask you to give your closing remarks, but we're able to listen to something else.
So thank you very much, Chair. I want to take this opportunity and appreciate first the Almighty God for allowing us to be here, and also thanking His Excellency the Governor for giving me this opportunity to appear here. And for this panel, I want to appreciate and say that whatever has been done here, if given opportunity, I want to say that I will start that responsibility very well, and I want to thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for honoring our invite to come to the appeal to the committee for vetting with an appointment. Wish you all the best as you go back to your home. Have a good day. Thank you.